Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this. That sounded very weird, like we're opening a show right here. But we're just going to do a plain high-level analysis on Solana. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do in this video. Like I said, hope you're all doing great, and hope you're having a good weekend. Solana has had a good weekend so far, and that's also what we need to talk about because, well, the price action we've had in the last 2 days has been pretty strange. I've changed my mind slightly since Friday, given some things that happened yesterday. So that's what we need to talk about. I think I covered Solana yesterday as well, so we do not need to go into the fundamentals, and I think in general that's a little bit redundant. But overall, what we do need to talk about is the strength we've had in this weekend. That was across the market. I mean, Bitcoin has been very, very strong as well, as you can see, and that has mostly been. Or at least it seems like mostly been about started Friday with some comments about potential quantitative easing. Personally, I don't think that matters that much, but then yesterday we had some exemptions for several products from China from the tariffs, which is obviously a bit of a de-escalation of the trade war and just in general that also relieves the US economy a bit, and that's sending markets higher, which I know sounds weird. What does that have to do with crypto? But as you can see, it does. So what that meant for Solana, and that's also why I changed my mind slightly. Look, we already were bullish on Solana, right? At least on the lower time frames. Because what we already identified is that we have been able to reclaim that most important support level between 113 and 115 with quite a lot of strength. Like we had decent volume on Friday breaking above that. So even though we left imbalances to the downside, and I thought it would be most likely we were going to fill those, it seems most likely to me that we were going to be able to hold that and consolidate. And then the big question was, well, can we break above 124 as well? To rally back into the balance we had right here in the middle of March. And so far we have done that, but we have done that in the weekend. And what I said yesterday is that, well, if we're going to be able to do that in the weekend, I will not trust it, right? Because most breakouts, most reclaims in the weekend, I do not trust. However, one of the key reasons for me not trusting those breakouts is the fact that they're usually with low volume and no real reason. And then yesterday we did have a real reason, and what you can also see, and this is very strange, but the volume for Solana is also still the same as yesterday, all right? And yesterday it was still quite high. It's right now at $4 billion, so that means that we actually had a reclaim with quite a lot of strength. And now all of a sudden we have a very strong support level right here around 123. We're already respecting the 200 EMA right here, and we have even more support at 115. So I've changed my mind about one thing, and that is that I do not think we're going to fill imbalances this low. I do think the next 24 hours are going to be volatile, and I do think we're going to have a pullback. But for me, the pullback, look, I think we have a good chance to already hold 122, 124. Maybe we drop down lower towards 115. Look, if we get very bad news, we can still drop down lower, of course. But ultimately, if the situation stays similar as it is right now, I think something like this or some sort of a variation like this for Solana is most likely. And it actually seems quite likely that we'll be able to rally into that value area high right here after that at 136, 138. So short term, yes, I do still think we're going to fill those imbalances. However, I think on the higher time frames, we will be able to hold crucial support levels here, especially the one around 122. And I do expect more strength, given that the fundamentals stay relatively stable. And that is not a given, all right? So that is something I'll definitely keep you updated on. But for now, Solana looks pretty good. So like I said, I'll let you know if anything changes. For now, have a great Sunday. Thank you for watching. Take care, and bye.